Hello, and welcome back to Teaspoons of Transformation, my mindful meditation based podcast. Today is a little different. I have my friend Mia with us today. We are going to be talking about our major, experience design, and we wanted this episode to be kind of like a fun little college journey tips type episode. Mia,
Good morning, everyone.
please introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are.
Okay, oh my gosh, my name's Mia. I am a senior graduating in December 2025 in experience design and management. I usually say that I swim, but because I'm a swimmer now, since April 2025, I'm really just rediscovering myself and what I want to do in my free time, and that's really hard right now.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah.
You were on the BYU swim
BYU swim
team.
team, yes.
Intense, amazing. Mia also has a podcast as well.
Yeah, it's called By the By. I have that podcast with my friend Amber Rice back home in California, and the theme is like FaceTiming with friends. So we talk about a lot of different topics from high school to, I don't know, anything deep, honestly. Just like you're FaceTiming a friend.
Like a FaceTime with friends. That's kind of the vibe we want to go for this episode, honestly. Just a fun little FaceTime, all of us together. Let's dive in, guys. So what is experience design? The best major at BYU.
Facts. Say it again.
No, seriously. A lot of people, the reason why we want to define it in the episode is just because everyone always asks us what it is.
Yeah.
So,
What is
Mia,
experience
what would you
design?
say? How would you describe what experience design is?
The simplified version would be creating memorable experiences for both ends, like the person who's going to the event and the person who's making the event, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like because EXCM is so broad, you could go into different careers. So you could be an event planner for weddings or like corporate events, and also do project management with the Scrum. no, with the Scrum.
Scrum. I don't even remember what Scrum is. It's a project management method.
I don't even know anymore. But you also do a virtual event with like UX design, creating apps that are both aesthetic, and also they help the people to, I guess, navigate the app.
Yeah, because
Easily.
that's an experience. It's digital experiences, in-person experiences, or like me, I'm passionate about instructional design experience.
I'm so excited to hear your story for the third time.
Oh yeah, just
FYI,
just by the way, I hope you guys enjoy this episode because we have filmed this episode 2 times before, and both times we lost the audio file, and so this shows how committed we are to doing this episode. Wait, Mia, I remember, I think the first time we recorded it, we were talking about internships, and I loved that. What internships have you done?
I've done 2. Yeah.
I remember you talking about them, and it sounded really cool.
So the internship that I had for our 495 class, yeah, I did a curated culture internship, basically like a small Filipino business that does curated boxes, like self-care kit boxes.
Oh yeah.
And I just work with I guess my supervisor with that, and then also just did a lot of interviews with small Filipino business owners on their companies and got to learn about themselves and what they do outside of being a business owner. So that was really nice.
Wow.
But interviewing them was kind of, one of them I had to do an interview with like 11 p.m. because they were in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But it was so nice. Like, I love her.
So what kind of things were in the self-care kits?
There was a poetry book called Homecoming. I
I
shout
love
out to
that.
Marge. Like, she is honestly so fun to talk to, but she just talks about her journey, her love journey. I'm not the type of person who would read poetry just because I don't understand it, but I feel like with her work, it definitely just evokes like a lot of connectedness and that being, I think, like relatedness too. But as someone in her 20s who has a boyfriend right now, I think it's like kind of too relatable. You know?
That's beautiful. Honestly, that just goes to show the amount of experiences that there are in our lives that have the potential to create more self-care and better.
And with the last two podcasts, guys, creation is the ultimate form of fulfillment.
Yes. Yes. Preach the quote. My favorite quote. It really is so true. So, should I talk about my internship?
Of course.
Now, I feel like, how many have I even done? My first one was at Family Search, which was so beautiful. Honestly, it was divine intervention because I feel like that was my family history time of my life where I was.
Really? What'd you do?
I was the family history leader. So I was project management. So I was on the business side of Family Search, but also right. But also everybody has to be trained in family history. And it was so beautiful to learn about it myself through my internship.
I would love to have that internship. Okay. Actually, I've been I love Family Search, but they can't allow people who aren't members of the church.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I've been like asking Dr. Hodge if she could set me up with someone, but that's kind of going.
Oh yeah, that is true.
And I'm like,
because it's I
would be a unique applicant.
You know what? Maybe Dr. Hodge.
Yeah.
Well, girl, maybe she'll help you. Honestly.
Oh wait, talk about your Dillard's internship. That was really nice because you did a lot of social media too.
My Dillard's internship was like every internship under the sun in one. We did event management. We also did social media. And then we got trained with every single manager in the store to be a future manager, basically, in every single manager position. So 1 week we were with one manager, the next week we were with another manager. And then we did a group project with other interns across the state. So we were trying to improve the Dillard's app because the Dillard's app is new and they wanted to know advice on what users are saying about it. So we did half our project on the Dillard's app and the other half on Dillard's social media. So it was a time. And then they paid for us to go to Salt Lake Fashion Place. It was kind of like my first little business trip. And I remember going to the hotel pool. I was the only one there. And I honestly just felt like a dad on a dad trip. I'm just here on a business trip. They're paying for my hotel, honestly. But yeah, I did that. And then my internship last summer was so cool. I touched on this in the introductory episode of my podcast. It's like how I even began my podcast. But Henry Amar, he's so cool. He's an international speaker and he just reached out to me on LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, sorry, I'm busy with school. But then his name kept coming in my head for months and I was like, fine, because it felt like unconventional and I'm a very conventional person, I feel like, when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so I really thought it was random, but I finally reached out to him and then I was with his wife's nonprofit to help women in relationships. It's called the Queen Collective. How much cooler can you get? And I did experiential marketing and things for them, and I was actually able to go to their launch party in person, part of what we planned, and it was so fun. I loved it. Anyways, I think those are the 3 main internships that I've done. But yeah, so this just goes to show how much diversity there is in experience design, and that's why I love it, because I have passions for so many different things. And so it's nice to kind of jump around in all
and see what you like. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I would say experience design, it's a mixture of psychology, design, and business, because we take psychology classes, which honestly is probably my favorite, and we'll get more into that. We do design classes, so we learn about Adobe, we learn about visual creation, what kind of messages do you portray through visual design? So I love that. And then business, right? Strategy, finance, accounting. You need to know that side because we are in the business school. And then you mix them all together and there you have it. It's so beautiful.
The best major ever.
And with that being said, how did we get here? What led us to experience design?
That's a really good question. I honestly did not know about EXCM until I applied to the major.
Really? You learned about it through the application?
Yeah. Well, put it this way. I knew about experience design before it was actually called experience design back in like my childhood because I would always love creating mini events for like my Barbie dolls or just like events in general.
Yeah.
But I honestly wanted to get into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
As my first, and then EXCM, and then strategy as my third, because why not? And I was really devastated to see that I didn't get into entrepreneurship because I thought it was going to be my whole life, just making a business.
What kind of business did you want?
I feel like I definitely wanted to make like a cafe. But because
wait, that's so cute. You still should.
I know, but because like a lot of people here don't drink coffee, I kind of have to like substitute a lot of the drinks.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes.
But definitely something with like cafe and just having a study vibe because I love libraries. I love just being productive and mingling around friends.
That's so cute.
But then I found about EXCM, I got accepted, and I was super skeptical about everything because I didn't know what it was and I didn't know what my future holds with my major. And then our junior classes came up with the theories and the frameworks and also just experience design in general, and also with Noelani's class about professional development, and I absolutely loved them because not only the classes were super helpful on learning what EXCM really was. The professors made it 100 times better with Ross, like not him always having to lecture us, but also just reaching out to us individually, asking about our day, or even with Matt, just I remember that he had those like note cards. It's like those memories that stick on to me that was like, oh, like this is what EXCM really is. And it's all about connections.
And belonging.
Yeah.
Didn't you say in one of our previous takes
I don't even
that
remember.
you feel like experience design is what helped you feel like you belong at BYU and belong in this community? Because BYU is predominantly, didn't you say it's 0.01% is not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? So I am, and a lot of people are, and then you are part of the minority,
right?
Which, when you look at it at face value, that sounds kind of hard.
Yeah, it's
right?
Really small.
And so what would you say, how do you think experience design and just the principles and the people helped you feel like you belong when you're that 0.01%?
Yeah, I just, honestly, it's just the people. It's just the community. It's just finding your group of people, like any other place that you are in. And I feel like because I've done swimming for 3.5 years at BYU, even though I found my community with swimmers, I just feel like I see them all the time. And it's swimming, my relationship with swimming, and I'm sure that you could say this with dance and like singing. I just felt like it became too toxic to the point where I didn't enjoy the sport anymore. And it felt like it was a chore for me, and I wasn't really passionate. I wasn't really happy. And there's a saying like, a happy swimmer is a fast swimmer. And I was like overworking myself.
Wait, that's kind of sad.
And like, I kid you not, I took 16 credits while also doing 30 to 40 hours per week of swim while doing like school and having my personal life with family or like friends, or like even doing long distance with my boyfriend. So EXCM honestly, I did not mention this in the 2 other podcast episodes that we did, but in a way, like, it really did save me. And it just reminded me, like, people are so good to you. And even though I'm not a member of the church, like, you could definitely see Christ-like attributes in people. And that's what makes me go forward and, like, have that connection.
That is so beautiful. Seriously. I don't know. Did you mention already that you were Catholic?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Catholic.
So Mia's Catholic. And that is so beautiful too, honestly, because I feel like in experience design, everyone is just trying to help everyone else have a good experience, regardless of what religion you are, regardless of what's going on. And that's the beauty and the inclusivity of experience design. Because even before this podcast, we both prayed together.
Yes.
And we might pray a little bit differently, but we still believe in that general goodness and that light, exactly, that you can see in people. And I feel like our world needs more of that. It really does.
It really does.
And it can happen through the experiences that you personally do. Because a lot of things in our world, we don't have huge control over, but we can control our areas of stewardship, our communities to start. That's a starting place, right? That's what I love about experience design. I feel like it's so positive. It's not, because we acknowledge that there are needs, because that's the whole point of experience design. It's need finding. What are the needs? And then we use the design thinking method, which is, do we know it from the top of our head? It's empathize. You empathize, you find out what the issue is, what needs help.
Yeah.
Then you define
yes,
the problem, the POV statement. What is the statement? User need insight. Dang, I remember this. It's the user, it's the need, and the insight. Then after that, it's
prototype.
Right? Ideation,
and then prototype.
Yes, so ideation, that's when the creative juices run wild. What kind of ideas, based in social psychology, based in theories, based in, the data that you collect. And then you start prototyping and testing. Boom.
Period. What I
like about... gonna be so proud of us. Dr. Durden, if you're listening. The design thinking method will never leave us.
Facts. What I like about EXDM is how creative and also technical it is. So I really love that balance of the two.
I know. Because it's both the analytical side as well as the creative side.
Right and left brain.
Right and left brain. I do. I have folders in my notes app where I divide my classes based on right and left brain. Yes. That is how organized I be in my notes app. That is so beautiful, Mia. Honestly, I love that. I feel like people need to hear that.
No, people need to hear how you got into EXDM.
Okay.
Yes.
I will. How do I even share this? It's honestly life-changing for me. So like Mia mentioned before, my whole life was dancing and singing, mostly singing. I actually didn't get into dancing until I got to college because if most of you listened to my introductory episode, you'll remember that I was training to be in the music dance theater program at BYU. That's what I thought I wanted to do when I first got to BYU. And I took the introductory class, Experience Design, EXDM 300, because my friend suggested it, and it counts as a GE. So there's a bunch of general education classes that you have to take. And so I said, oh, that sounds awesome. I'm going to take it. It sounds cool. I just went in with the mindset of it being my general ed. Little did I know it would become my path, because like we said before, experience design is based on psychology. It's based on social psychology theory. And so part of the class, most of the class actually, is you learn about them. And there's one particular theory called the self-determination theory. So it was developed by E. Deci and R. Ryan. The purpose of the theory is to provide these guidelines that will enhance the interplay between internal and external motives that ultimately determine your motivation. So there are a lot of benefits that come with enhancing interplay between internal and external motivation, because I feel like it can be very toxic when you live by too much of one than the other, if that makes sense. Because I feel like I was living way too heavily in the externally motivated side of motivation. All of my motivations were externally motivated. And I feel like part of it has to do a little bit with kind of the cutthroat energy that sometimes can come from the arts community. And it's not to say that that's all the arts community is. I absolutely adore my time within the arts community and I still love it so much. But that was kind of a vibe of the culture, which is just kind of ingrained in it, so you can't really fully see that you're being externally motivated, but that's just kind of how it is being a performer and being a swimmer too. Just something like that. It's very, we're going to win, we're going to get the part, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But internal motivation is more of what's the purpose, what's the meaning, what are the values, what are the things internally that I want out of my own life instead of just these external goals. So, those are the benefits of the theory. And then the principles of the theory are autonomy. So, we all should have a grasp of what autonomy is, right? It's making your own decisions without being controlled. And I feel like a lot of the times in our life, we become controlled by
Facts.
these things in our life without even, and we don't even notice that we're being controlled, because we can be controlled by things that we love. We can be controlled by our own insecurities. So, having autonomy in the self-determination theory, I feel like closely relates with internal motivation, because that's where our own personal control comes out. Even when all these external things are happening, we can still ground ourselves in what we want to do, what we decide is going to be the most important thing in our life, even though everyone else is telling us, maybe our culture is telling us, maybe our community is telling us, but we get to decide ultimately, which is so important. And then relatedness, which is just another word basically to describe belonging. We want to feel loved, we want to feel connected, we want to feel involved. That's one of the principles of this theory. Are we doing what we do out of love? Are we doing what we do out of fear? And at this time in my life, what I was doing was out of fear. It was out of fear of being good enough, out of fear of not being the best singer, out of fear of messing up the dance. It was so focused on fear. So I feel like belonging and relatedness, it sounds so cliche, but I personally forgot to include that in my life, in my pursuits. Is what I'm doing based on that? And it honestly wasn't. And then competency, that's the third principle of the theory. It's your ability to do something successfully or efficiently. And at this time of my life, my anxiety and everything just made me feel like at the end of the day, I couldn't even complete the externally based goals that I had. I wanted to complete all these goals, do all of these things, and I didn't truly believe that I was capable of it because I didn't build up this resilience of internally motivated goals. And so this is where I was at when I was first learning about the theory. And while I was learning about these things, the class was very experiential. They would give us assignments saying, okay, go out and learn about the theory. Do something so you can see yourself actively participating in what it means to be autonomous, what it means to do things out of love and not fear, what it means to enhance the interplay between external and internal motivations. So I started utilizing the theory in my life on my own. And I remember being with my vocal coach. And before I was introduced to this theory, she stopped me one day when I was singing. She's like, "You are tensing so much in your voice, and it almost seems like it's not your real voice." I don't know if she said it in that way, but the way she said it was, your voice doesn't feel like it's authentically you, which was crazy because I was not authentically me at the time, which is why my singing voice wasn't authentic. And the more I learned about this theory and the more I tried to assess why I sang, and the more I was able to let go of the fear of not being good enough. And by focusing on the greater purpose of why I sing, my voice started to change. It is insane. My voice started to relax once I let go of the pressures of all of my goals, and I found internal motivation. It was absolutely wild. It was such a spiritual experience to see how powerful intentional living can be, especially with theories like these that can truly help you. It is just insane. I remember making the connection and being like, and at the same time, I was working so hard at personal growth, therapy every week. And it's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to read. I still have my journal, a little piece of my journal from when this was happening for me.
Guys, it's so good.
It's
So good.
it was in fall 2022 and I'm still talking about it today. That shows you how just beautiful it is. So in my journal I said, my voice teacher says that she thinks I've become friends with my voice. And that makes me so happy. I'm more authentically me when I sing. The coolest part is it didn't come from hours of perfect practice, but months of discovering myself. Let truth inform what we do. I feel like crying a little bit right now because it's just so beautiful to see the power of experience design. And I completely changed my experience with myself. I'm going to cry. With myself and with my singing voice. And it just goes to show you where the true power lies in. It doesn't lie in, and like your example, Mia, it doesn't lie in, oh my gosh, all this pressure, all this fear, I need to be faster, I need to be faster, I need to be faster. The true power comes in from living out your authentic truth.
Yes.
That comes from internal things and external things.
Right.
Because I don't want anyone listening to this thinking that we're demonizing external factors, because
I feel like it could still be helpful in a way.
it can be helpful,
but
yes.
not to the point where it's really toxic.
Exactly. It can't be your everything. And I feel like it has potential to be your everything, especially when you're trying to be an expert.
Right.
In something.
And not even me, just in swim. I used to do piano, and I feel like because of that fear of being really perfect and that my parents paid so much money for lessons, like I have to live up to their standards. But I feel like once, obviously, like the techniques are down, I just feel like I had to let my heart out and really touch into that point of feeling the music.
Yes.
But I don't know, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into, I feel like the words that I live by most would be, do the things that you love with your heart and not with your brain.
Wow.
And
I love that.
I feel like most of the time we're super caught up on things that we are forced to do. Like, at least for me, I see all of my friends getting master's degrees. And I feel like it could be really useful for them. And I feel like they need to have that in order to get certain jobs. But then for me, I definitely just want to grow and be happy in my life. Because in reality, living your life, you only live this life once. And you have to obviously make the most out of it because you don't know what's going to happen the next day. And I could say that from experience, but at the end of the day, you do have to be at peace with yourself. and just enjoy the things that you want to do because life is too short.
I love that so much.
And it's like so cliche and so basic, but it is super true.
I know. It's kind of wild to just think about our world and to think about how the most cliche, simple basics really do save everyone.
Yeah.
And we just have to humble ourselves enough to actually work hard at implementing them in our lives and watching our lives change.
Yeah.
Because my life totally changed and because of the class. And I said, these things are incredible and I want to be the person that gives other people this kind of knowledge, this kind of design, because it takes, like I said before, it takes intentionality. Wait, is that a word? Yes, it is.
It is.
Intentionality. Yeah. I don't know why it sounds weird this morning. To do it. And at least when I first saw, spoiler alert, I got accepted to the major. I'm a senior too.
Yay.
Which is so beautiful because going back to the competence complexity that I had, I didn't think I would be accepted because it's kind of hard. The prereqs are kind of wild. But I definitely didn't think I was going to be accepted, but then I
didn't you say like the business school's top?
Yes. It is listed nationally. It's one of the top business schools. Actually, it's ranked really high. And for me at the time, I was like, well, that's not me. I'm not a high ranking individual. But now we are at the end, and it's so beautiful actually for me to think that I'm at the end, because with all the struggles that I faced in college.
Oh, so let me add to that. We are not failures. Like, we could fail at things, but we're not I actually want to read you a quote that I saw on Instagram that I think is super really cool.
Okay, I love this. We're going off the grid for this podcast. This is the final.
I think we're gonna make it. I just feel like once I saw this quote, it's super like medieval times, but I think I will live by this quote because we learn and we grow by recognizing our failures and recognizing what we could do better. And that's not just EXCM coded, but life coded in general. But let me just read you the quote. The more epic the challenge, the more epic the dragon. And as a consequence, the more epic the hero.
I'm going to cry again because that's basically how I feel. Because the things that I've learned with the epic, what was the word? Epic sadness? I don't know, the epic pain. Like, you come out more epic of a person. And the best thing about that is the things that you learn about yourself during that situation with the dragons and whatnot. You develop skills that will never leave you in your life. I will never stop preaching about that.
Isn't there also like a quote that's like, if you teach a man, if you teach a man to fish, that skill will like... You know what quote I'm talking about?
I know a quote. It's from EXTM 300, I feel like.
Yeah. If you I'm going to search this up actually. You keep talking.
Yeah. Anyways, what Mia's trying to say is, so before I applied to Experience Design, I genuinely was so worried about my life path and if I was making the right or wrong decision. But I ultimately found that the journey you go through up until the decision is your amazing time to discover things about yourself and these amazing things you learn about yourself that will make the end result so much better. Mia, I see your face. You have the quote. What is it?
Give a man a fish and you will feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Wow. I love that quote, actually.
I'm about to drop this mic. Mia, you're so amazing. And you're so wise.
I try to be, girl. I think I just have a lot of trauma in my life.
You know what? So does everybody at this point.
But I reflect, and that made me a better person, because I feel like
Okay.
people just expect the worst in life, but you're not really living life.
Oh my gosh.
That's see
Okay,
this
Mia. Let me ask you a question.
oh no.
If you so we're seniors, right? This episode. Hopefully we've been giving tips. We've just kind of been going off, but I feel like there are lessons to be learned
This is just like life tips
in
at
these
this point.
life tips. Life tips are college tips. However, if you could go back to freshman year,
oh, I love this.
what would you tell yourself?
First of all, I would hug her. I feel like she oh my gosh, she's just been so stressed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would hug her and I would tell her, you're going to be okay. You are worth it. You are everything that you have worked hard for. And even as like not a member of the church, and yeah, I'm Catholic, God has a plan for you. Believe in him. Go slay.
Yes.
Honestly, I just want to tell her, don't stress about it too much. Like you will live your life, even though as Mia right now, like whoever says that college years are going to be the best years of your life, I feel like that's super wrong. But I feel like it's so true that you will learn the most in your 20s, and being that 18-year-old through 21-year-old Mia, just learning the things about your life that will hopefully lead you to success in your 30s. Like you will learn a lot, and that's okay. You're just living life. You're not going to be in shambles.
That is so true. I feel like I learn something new every week.
How about you?
Oh my goodness. See, so this is hard for me because, so just as a side note, I hope Noelani listens to this too. We'll have to send it to her. But we do, in our major, we do Clifton Strengths test for our.
Do you have yours memorized?
I do have mine memorized.
Period.
So the reason why we do it is so, oh my gosh, it's so cool actually. The reason why we do it in our major is so we can learn about our strengths so we can work well in a team. Because a lot of stuff we do is consulting stuff for outside companies, like innovation. And so we want to really work well in a team.
Yes.
And so some of our classes, they put us in groups based on strengths that complement each other because our professors know what everyone's strengths are, which I think is so cool to see the group dynamic of how it works when you have good strengths together. But the reason why I bring this up is because one of my top strengths is being a learner.
Slay.
So I feel like I love to learn everything, and I love deep learning. I think that's why I love learning experience design and like instructional design, because I care so much about people's learning experiences, because I have learned and that's one of the reasons why I started my podcast too, is because I feel like I'm just learning so many beautiful things and I have to share it. And so this question is so hard because, like, what lesson in my file of thousands will I share right now? You know what? I'm going to share the one that I feel like is the most relevant. I feel like for my community, for the community that's here in Utah, because we have a religious community and it's so beautiful and there's so many things that come with it. But I also feel like we can forget about the beauty of our souls, if that makes sense. We're so busy trying to prove ourselves in society, to do things, to check them off the list, that we forget. Because, so we say a lot in my religion that your body is a temple. And we also have temples. Temples are the house of God. And if you think about your body being a temple, you realize that that it's sacred. You realize that that's where the presence of the Lord can reside. So you think of your soul being housed in a temple and how that's aligned with God. And I feel like we're so good at telling ourselves what we need to improve upon and how we need to do better. And that's amazing. We change every day. But I'm a firm believer that what I would say to myself, what I would say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry again. This is horrible. I can't cry. I need to make it through. I would
Almost
say
there.
to my freshman self that you are already worth it. You are already everything that you need to be. You are just learning to take away the layers and to discover that. Because for the longest time, I was trying to beat myself up into perfection, beat myself up into the person that I felt like God needed me to be.
Can I actually say something? I
Please.
feel like you remind me of a big sister in a way.
I do?
Yeah. Hear me out. Because I feel like because you've experienced so much hardship in your life that you don't want that to happen to like your little sisters or like your little siblings.
Yeah.
And you do have an older sister, right?
I do. Yeah.
I just feel like you want to take the pain out of people. And you want to be able to learn first and learn like the hardships of things and just create like a self-help 101 this is how you live your life guidebook. That's like how I feel about you sometimes.
That's what God is doing with me. And whatever he does with me, I want it to be done for other people. You don't need to completely change who you are. You just need to discover the divinity that's already within you.
That's like a slogan. That should be the EXDM slogan.
It really should be, because there is good in everybody. There really is. And you just have to learn about them. You just have to unravel, because everybody makes mistakes, but I am a firm believer that everybody has light within them. And just to close, I feel like in my mind, experience design is adding the sparkle back to life. And hopefully this podcast is adding a little sparkle back to your life, to your journey in college, because there are little sparkles everywhere. And call me an optimist, but even though there are horrible things going on in the world, in your life, there's also so much good. And we need to do everything we can to remember that. I'm so glad Mia was here to help me remember that too, because look at her. She's amazing.
No, you are. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to hug you after this
Okay.
podcast.
Thanks for coming on the podcast, Mia.
Thank you for
I am
having
honored to
me.
have you on here. And thank you everyone so much for listening. And I'm looking at our audio, and it looks like
It looks good.
we have not lost the file. You know
Yay!
what? That is the good of our day.
Yay.
Thank you so much, and namaste.